Good afternoon. How you guys doing? This is your ambassador Ida Serino Lee, and I'm here in MBNK News TV, where we like to contrast the worldly facts with kingdom truth, which is the original truth. So today we're going to be talking about big pharma. Okay, and I know that we already did a show earlier about big pharma, so we're not gonna be repeating every single thing that I said that time. But today we're gonna learn more of the things that we really need to know that are going to serve us when it comes to big pharma. Okay, so it's very important for you to listen. If anybody that is watching this right now, share it to everybody that you can share. Share the link. If you are watching it in our YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe, and turn on that little bell so that every time that we have a new show, you can see it. Okay, it's very, very, very important. So before we start with the presentation, that we do not own or reclaim the rights for the video or anything like that. We're showing this video just for educational purposes and for you to learn more. And also, this do not in any way will replace the advice and treatment of a physician. Okay, so we don't own the rights for the videos, and this do not replace in any way the advice of a physician. This is just for educative purpose, so you can make a more informative decision regarding your health. Okay, so let's watch our video right now.
I think each of you believe nicotine is not addictive. We just would like to have this for the record.
I don't believe that nicotine or our products are addictive.
I believe nicotine is not addictive.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
Okay, so you watch that video. The purpose of the video is for me to teach you or to let you know that we cannot depend completely on big pharma. Now, I don't want to tell you that everything that big pharma does is bad, that not taking medication, that we don't supposed to take any medication or anything like that. There's a lot of medications out there that are to save our life. Actually, I think that the purpose of big pharma is to rescue the body from a sudden illness, from trauma and exacerbation of disease, and stabilize you, and then your care and your lifestyle and nutrition that will carry you out into health. That's what I supposed to be, that the position of big pharma is supposed to be. But we can tell by the video that we just watched that we cannot trust them, because they can tell you one thing and then that's not it. That means that we have to do our own research, and we need to get inform ourselves. Okay, so I have a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to be doing. Okay, so I can explain you certain things about big pharma. Okay, so today we're gonna learn what we need to know about big pharma. The first thing that I need you to know about big pharma is that according to the CDC, 75% of prescription medications are consumed here in the United States. We are the country that consume more medication. We are the country that are the most unhealthy country out there. Okay, but Big Pharma, they said that Big Pharma made in 2020 from the 20 most prescribed medication and $101 billion. Okay, 101. They pocketed $101 billion just in the United States when they only use $57 billion in the whole rest of the world combined. So that means that there's something going on there, something going wrong there, where we consume more medication and the other countries don't consume that many medication. Okay, something about our nutrition, our lifestyle, the way that we live, the way that we prescribe, something is not aligned that is causing the United States to consume more medication. So that's why we need to get informed exactly to see what it is that we need and what we don't need. Why is that they're selling more and other countries are not consuming the same amount? Why is this happening? Also, we know that I talked to you last time that Big Pharma contribute heavily to the FDA through application of new products, fees experts, and contributing about 2/3 of the FDA budget. So, because Big Pharma work together with the lobbyists, with the government, with the FDA, they have a lot of control. They have a lot of tentacles touching every area. They influence the doctors of what to prescribe. They influence the studies. They influence the government. They influence the patients by the commercials and stuff like that. We talked about that before also in the last one. So we need to understand that they influence everything. So maybe because they can get to influence all different areas, they're able to control the narrative. Okay, they're able to control the results. They're able to control what they put out there and what they don't, because of the way that they control everything around them. So also, Big Pharma create conflict of interest in clinical trials because they pay for the clinical trials. They pay universities, they pay doctors. Okay, so that means that they make them impartial. They make it impartial to the results, and that contribute for the agencies that are doing these studies to be more yielding when it comes to a more positive results. They say that they cannot lie, okay, in the results, but studies have shown that almost about 30% of all studies that are funded by Big Pharma that usually come back positive, meaning that is a good medication, that is not going to cause any damage, always in favor of the Big Pharma. Another thing that we need to concentrate is that after a medication has been approved, that means they did the trials, okay, they know the side effects and so on and so forth, and the trials are being completed, and then FDA have approved the medication. Then after that, they hardly evaluate for effectiveness. Why? Because at this point, already the medication is approved. The doctor can prescribe you the medication, and if you tell them the doctor this medication is not working, the doctor can just change it to another one. Okay, and they still have that medication out there causing havoc in your body already for the time that you consume it and didn't do nothing. And other people that maybe did some good with some bad together is still consuming that medication because they don't do more studies regarding the effectiveness of the medication. Another thing is that you want to know is that according to Harvard University Center of Ethics, they say that hospital charts were evaluated, and they said that drugs given correctly cause around 1.9 hospitalization, 1.9 million hospitalization. That means that medications that were given for the right reason, at the right time, at the right dosage, at the right person, with the right combinations, where there was no mistake whatsoever, 1.9 of those prescriptions cause hospitalizations. Okay, and they also say that another 840 patients that were already in the hospital that they gave those medications correctly to also caused adverse reaction, causing at least 2,074,000 adverse reaction and hospitalizations in the hospital, and causing 120,000 deaths a year. Meaning that even when the medications are given correctly, they can still cause a lot of damage and cause death. So that can open your eyes and say, okay, what the key is not necessarily uh, 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 that big pharma is bad, or that the doctors are not prescribing the prescription correctly. Is that your body really don't need those medications, and the one thing I can do is avoid needing them. If I can avoid needing them by taking care of myself, by making sure that I'm the CEO of my health, then I don't need the medication. Then I don't need to be exposed to this uh, adverse reactions. Okay, and then I want to ask you a question, and if you are listening here, I want you to write it in comments. How many of you have been to the hospital and it seems that you get worse before you get better? Or you go in and out of the hospital feeling the same? You didn't see no improvement, but with more medication and more side effects. I've been there and done that. Before I became a holistic health practitioner, I was in and out of the hospital at least 3 and 4 times a year. Okay, because the medication that they were giving me for my blood pressure were not regulating my blood pressure, or my body got used to the medication. Okay, the body got used to the medication, and at one point didn't work no more. So my blood pressure will rise up, causing chest pain, causing headache, mild strokes, and I end up in the hospital for a week or so, and then they give me another regimen and another regimen, and then those regimens add up to more pills because I have to battle the side effects of it. And I ended up at one point in my life where I was taking 19 pills a day, and I was feeling like a zombie. No wonder why. No wonder why. So that's why the one thing that you can do in order for you to avoid the needs of the medication is taking care of yourself, making sure that you are adopting a healthy lifestyle and adopting a good nutrition. God already gave us every single thing that we need, okay, in order to have optimal health. The Lord already provided. It's already there. It's already inside of us, and it's already in nature for us to in our plants and in our foods and our nutrients to have. Also, according to the NIH, between 2010 and 2016, Big Pharma obtained $100 billion for research. So, let me tell you something. Big Pharma is making money galore. Okay, they're making money galore. Health is a business. They're no longer concerned with your health. They are well. Let me rephrase that. They are concerned about your health, but they are concerned to keep you alive and dependent to the medications. So of course, that some of these medications are needed, and some of the medication can stabilize you, and some of the medications are gonna make you feel better and take away some of the symptoms that you are suffering. So you're gonna be able to live longer and more dependent to them. So yeah, they're looking for things that are gonna make you feel better, but not necessarily heal you or cure you. Okay. Another thing that happened with prescription is that when big pharma, okay, get a patent is like a license for a medication. That means that they're the only one that can make that medication. So what they do is they try as much as they can to prolong the patent so that they can have the monopoly of the medication. What that causes is that they increase the cost of the medication. Here in the United States, okay, the government and Medicare cannot fight or negotiate the price of medications. So for example, something like thyroid medications, it is really needed if you don't have a thyroid, or if you are you suffer from hypothyroidism, you really need the thyroid medication. If you are, for example, have a bleeding disorder, you really need your blood thinner. Okay, if you have diabetes, you really need your insulin. So there's a good things about big pharma, new technologies and science that is good for us. Okay, but if that technology is not at the reach of the people that needs it, then it make matters worse, because now you go to the doctor, you have a disease, but you can do nothing about it. When it comes into the to do quick relief, to get quick relief onto your lifestyle and nutrition. Because the thing is that if you are adopting a lifestyle, a good lifestyle and nutrition, you will be able to prevent diseases. But if you already have a disease, okay, and you didn't have a good lifestyle and nutrition, then you need the medication to stabilize you. And then while you haven't done that, you had a bad lifestyle, and then you go to the doctor and they give you a diagnosis, and then you cannot buy the medication so you can get stabilized until your lifestyle and nutrition catch up with that. Then you're in big trouble. And that's what's happening nowadays with a lot of people. I know when I was working in the doctor's office, people that will ration their insulin to make sure that it lasts longer, because they couldn't pay more if they needed more insulin. Okay, even the copay was even too much. So what they do is that they do not negotiate. When they do the lobbyist thing, that they go and pay for the government to be able to their candidates to win their position and things like that, and create different bills. Inside the bills, there are hidden clause that talk about how Medicare cannot negotiate the price of medication. The key is that all other insurance, they get guided by what Medicare pays in order for them to know what they're going to pay for or not going to pay for when it comes to prescriptions in their insurances. So if Medicare cannot negotiate, then they will not be able to negotiate either, and that's going to make it worse for us. So what happened with that is then here it comes that when they lose the patent, the next thing that happens is that now they no longer have the monopoly. So now other companies can make what is called the generic. Okay, so insurances and Medicare support generic consumption because generics are cheaper. The bioequivalent to the brand name, but are not totally the same. That means that the active ingredients are in both, but there's other ingredients in the medication that might not be included in the generic, or ingredients that are not in the brand name that might be added. Maybe this medication is a medication that will irritate your stomach, and the brand name have a coating, so when you digest it, it will not break down in your stomach. But then the generic doesn't have that coating, so it will break down in your stomach, causing ulcers. That's an example. So that's why it is very important for us to understand that. That's why some people can be uh, uh, the brand name can be very effective for what they need it for, but the generic is not effective at all. And then if they want to have the brand name, then they need to go through the insurance and get prior authorization for them to be able to get paid for it. So how many of you that are listening to me have to have gone through all that process of getting a prior authorization in order for you to get a medication? I mean, I remember when I was working in the doctor's office, I had to fill applications like that in a daily basis. So my patients were able to get their medication in a price that they could afford, if they can afford it. Now, what Big Pharma does in order to get us full, okay, is that Big Pharma have a campaign that is very confusing. What they do is that they tell us, okay, the patients and the population, they said, politicians said that they want to negotiate medication prices in Medicare, but what they really means is that they want to decide what medicine you can get. Tell the government, don't play doctor with your medicines. That's what they say. They're telling you that the government is trying to fight the prices because they want to control what you take. When that's not it. That's not the case. The case is that Big Pharma don't want to negotiate the prices of the medication with Medicare so that they can control the prices and make more profit. As a result of that, the Medicare need to tell you what can you have or you cannot. It's the other way. That's why, especially, and this happened a lot to the elderly. If you are over 55 and you're listening to me and you have Medicare or managed care insurance that goes together with your Medicare, what the insurance do is like they go every year when you got open enrollment. The insurance have already negotiated to see which medications they can pay for and what medications they cannot pay for. So when the patients go to open enrollment, usually they look at the list of medication and they go with an insurance that will pay their medications. But you can be in that insurance at the middle of the year. The Medicare is forced to remove that medication for their list, and then they tell you that you need to find an alternative. That's all because of big pharma. It's not that big pharma want. It's not that the Medicare or the government want to control what kind of medication you can have. It's the fact that they cannot afford it. You know how much in debt we are right now in the United States. They cannot afford it, those medications. So if they cannot afford it, then you cannot afford it either. And then they're not available for you because they know also big pharma know that, okay, if the Medicare is not going to afford it and not going to buy it, I know that the patients are really want it. They will move earth, the sky and the earth to get the medication paid for it, and they still going to make the money for it. Okay, so that's why they do that. So don't get fooled by the campaign that they have, that they want you to go and fight with the government regarding they trying to be the doctor for your medication, when it's the other way around. They don't want them to fight. They don't want them to negotiate so that they can keep rising the prices of our medications that we really need, the ones that we really need, if we are not taking care of ourselves properly. That's another question I got asked all the time. Why is that medications are cheaper in other countries, especially, for example, Canada? Why is it cheaper in Canada than it is in the United States? And you can see the prices over here. It's an anaphylactic reaction, a big bad reaction to an allergic reaction. That they need that EpiPen right away. They need to carry that right away. Let's say somebody that's allergic to peanuts went to a restaurant, didn't know that maybe they didn't put peanuts in their food, but they cook or they or mix their food in the same bowl where they have peanuts before. Now the person eat that plate, and they get an anaphylactic reaction when they start swelling, stop breathing. The people that know that they suffer with that, they always carry an EpiPen with them, and whoever's with them, they're just going to inject them, and they will be able to, save their life. But what happened when a medication like that costs $634 in the United States? Usually, if that medication is maybe like a 2-tier in insurances, and you end up always paying at least $300 something for it. So nobody can afford it. That's why people are asking permission to see if they can go and buy their medication from Canada. And the reason why in Canada is cheaper is because Canada have a bill. Okay, the Canadian government, which put a bill for prescription drugs that will not pay for drugs, if a government review board believes that the cost is too excessive. So the big pharma say, I'm making all the money in America, so if they don't want me to raise up the price, but don't worry about it, I give it to them cheaper because I know that still, anyway, you saw me for the first slide, they're making all the money here. Everything that they're making for the rest of the world is extra to put in their pocket. So they don't care to sell it to them cheaper. But it isn't that crazy because it's made here. It's a discovery or scientific discovery that was made here. Okay, and you cannot have it. You cannot have it yourself. You cannot. It's not reachable for you to have it. When you really need it, like an EpiPen is something that is really needed if somebody's have that allergy medication. Okay, so this is the problems that we are encountering with big pharma here in the United States. Okay, so how medication work? I want you to look at this graph. I know that the letters was too blurry. I couldn't find one that was clear, but I'm gonna explain to you. Okay, if you see this pink area right here, that's your cell. Okay, that's your cell, and this area over here, the cell wall, and the cell wall have receptors. And in those receptors, I call those garages, okay, for sake of explanation. Garages, where some receptors are for hormones, or some receptors are for the glucose and the insulin to get into your body. Some receptors is for some chemical reaction mineral to go in and out of the body, so on and so forth, okay? So when you are not taking any medication, you're eating well, everything is going fine. The yellow balls over here are the hormones or the chemicals that your cells need, and they will connect to the receptors and dump whatever they need to be dumping into the cell, and the cell will be normal. Will have a normal cellular activity. Now, some medications are what is called stimulants. So, for example, let's say you're not making enough thyroid hormone. Okay, you need 3 or 4, but you're not making enough thyroid hormone, so you're taking a thyroid medication. Then this one, what happens is that will attach to it will be equivalent to the receptor, and it will attach there, and it will get the what you need here. But what happens is that the chemical is never as good as the natural, so will stimulate the activity of the cell, sometimes even more. If you taking the wrong dosage, you can have overstimulation in the cells, overactivity in the cell, because they are not the same as the natural. Then we have other type of medications that are inhibitory medicines. Some of the blood pressure medication, for example, are this type of medication. What they do is that now, instead of allowing that natural chemical, that natural mineral, the natural vitamin that need to be in that receptor, the glucose, whatever it is natural that's supposed to be the receptor get in, they block that, because apparently blocking that is going to help you for the, let's say we're talking about blood pressure. So that's going to help you lower the blood pressure. If you don't get enough calcium, then it's going to lower the blood pressure. So let me be a calcium channel blocker. That's one of the medications for your blood pressure, and then block the calcium. So yeah, your blood pressure is going to get low, issues with your kidneys, and so on and so forth. So that's how medications are not correcting anything. They are either stimulating something or blocking something to let something else happen in order to reduce your symptoms. Okay? Okay. So there are 3 questions. Okay, I call these questions the $1 trillion question we should be asking ourselves. Okay. The first question that we should be asking ourselves is, does this medication address the root cause of our disease, or just treating the symptoms that stem from it? Okay, is the medication that you're taking addressing the root cause of disease? For example, when you're diabetic and they prescribe you metformin, metformin is not treating the root cause of insulin resistance. That what it's doing is making sure that your sugar is lower, but it's not really working with the root cause. The same thing when you get insulin. Insulin is going to lower your sugar, but it's not taking care of the root cause, because what happened with the insulin is that you're eating the sugar, and then you're going to take the insulin. The insulin is going to carry the sugar out of the blood, and now when you test your blood, your sugar is going to be normal. But what happened is that if the insulin resistance is not addressed, that sugar that the insulin just carry out of the bloodstream is going to go back to the liver and convert it into fat cholesterol. Addressing is not really addressing the root cause, and it's creating more problems. So that's one thing that you have to think when you're taking a medication. Is that the case, and I really have to have it because my sugar is 500 and 600, then I will have the medication. But then what do I have to do? What do I need to do when it comes to diet and exercise and stuff like that, so I be able to be removed for that medication eventually? That's what you have to think about. The second question is this medication will be causing new health issues and side effects, making the cure worse than the disease? Yes, that's another thing. That's how I felt about blood pressure medication. Blood pressure medication will lower my blood pressure. Okay, but then I feel tired. I gain weight. I was dizzy all the time. I couldn't sleep. It was worse than the disease, because really, when you have high blood pressure, unless you're really, really, really high, you don't have no symptoms. Okay, so you walking with high blood pressure and you're feeling pretty much okay 99% of the time, unless you really have a headache and your blood pressure is above 150, above, higher, then you really start having symptoms. But otherwise, you can be walking with high blood pressure for years like nothing happened, and then you discover you have the high blood pressure. They give you a medication. Now you're feeling sicker than ever. Not to mention that medication for blood pressure, for example, when it comes to a man, it will lower libido. Got issues with erectile dysfunction. Like I told you, didn't let me sleep. It make because what happened, it make you like kind of relax. Not to mention that's the medications for high blood pressure, for example, that are medications that are inhibitors, that are blocking different other procedures that need to have it happen, processes that need to be happening in your cell. The same thing happened with cholesterol medication. Cholesterol medication can give you joint pains and bone pains, okay? And it's blocking CoQ10, which is an antioxidant that also helps the cells, the mitochondria, to make energy. So now you're taking the cholesterol medication, but now you're not making enough energy. If you're not making enough energy, you're going to become insulin resistant. That's the reason why taking cholesterol medication can cause diabetes, because now you don't need that energy. Now you're consuming all the sugar, but you don't need the energy because the cholesterol medication is blocking the CoQ10. So the mitochondria, which is the little energy machine inside the cell, don't need the sugar anymore. And then you become diabetic. So you see, it's causing worse things in your body. So maybe doing diet and exercise versus taking the cholesterol medication might be a good idea. And really knowing your numbers, so you can make an advised decision whether you really need to take that medication or not, is very important. And I'm going to expand a little bit in this area when it comes to the cholesterol, because when you are looking for your cholesterol number, the total cholesterol number is not a good enough number to tell to understand if you need to take that medication or not. If you cholesterol is 220, the total cholesterol is 220, that's not a good enough information to make the decision if you want to take the cholesterol medication for at least for a while until it comes down. You have to look at making sure that you check your total cholesterol, and then your good cholesterol with the HDL, and your bad cholesterol with the LDL, and your triglycerides. Okay, so the job of the good cholesterol is that let me start with the bad cholesterol. The job of the bad cholesterol is that whenever there's an injury inside the arteries, then that works as a paste, and it will paste into the walls of the artery, correcting those errors. Then the excess of that cholesterol, then the good cholesterol work as a broom that will broom them out, and take it out and clean it out. And that's the job of the cholesterol. But what happens is that the bad cholesterol is made out of small particles and big particles. So when you go to the doctor and you want to check your cholesterol, you need to ask the doctor, I want a lipid profile with particle size of the bad cholesterol. Because what happens is that when the particles are small in the bad cholesterol, those are the ones that stick to the walls and continue to stick and cause the blockages. But when the particles are big, they cannot stick, and the good cholesterol will brush them out. So if you have high cholesterol, total cholesterol, but when you look at the bad cholesterol, you have more big particles than small particles, maybe you can just continue with good diet instead of having a medication. So those are the little things that we need to get informed and do the research in order for us to make the informative decision when the doctor comes in with a proposal of treatment. Okay? The last question is, reverse any chronic disease. What are you willing to do in order for you to change so that you don't depend on big pharma and their medications? And if you really need it, what are you willing to do in order for you to be able to need it, for a small time, and be able to go back into your lifestyle and nutrition and prevent the more damage and bondage to those medications? What are you willing to do? Are you willing to eat healthy? and eat more vegetables and more nutrition? Are you willing maybe to get a coach that's going to help you and teach you to do that kind of stuff? Okay, are you willing to making sure that you're exercising? Are you willing to making sure that you're sleeping your 8 hours a night? Are you willing to making sure of building healthy relationships and stay connected with God? Those are the things that you need to do in order for you to reach that optimal health. Are you willing to do it? If you're willing to do it, I want you to write down in the comments that you're willing to do it. Now, I want to explain this to you that people do not understand when it comes to their health. The white line here is your lifespan. Okay, this is your health span, actually. This is your health span. Okay, over here at 100 is what defines optimal health. That means that optimal health means that you are healthy physically and emotionally. As you're losing health, when you're in about 60% of health, is when you start feeling symptoms and when you start getting sick. That's the time that probably many people that haven't taken care of themselves start going to the doctor. Okay, and now the doctor give you some prescriptions. Okay, and now because the doctor give you a prescription for your sugar and he gave you a prescription for your acid reflux and give you a prescription for your blood pressure, now you're feeling okay. So when you're going to ask a person how you doing, and they're only 60%, they're not in 100%, they tell you, I'm 100%. Why? Because they have no symptoms. Why? Because they're taking the medication. But if at this point you stop those medications, your blood pressure is going to rise, your sugar is going to rise. Why? Because they're only addressing the symptoms. They're not addressing the root cause of the disease. So you are not in optimal health when you're in 60. You are in disease mode. You're in disease mode, taken care by sick care. Because you are not doing anything at this point. Some of us are doing anything when it comes with your lifestyle and nutrition to move the arrow this way. Okay, so while you think 100% is a person that do not take any medication, that they are totally healthy, they can function 100% in every area, they can run, they can sit, they can work, they can do everything without any issue. They are healthy emotionally, physically, in relationship, economic, everything. They're totally healthy. But when you are in 60%, that means that you are sick or feeling symptoms already in medication. So even though the medication give a false sense of health, and maybe you're feeling like a 90, an 80, instead of the 60, you're at 60 because you're depending on that medication. So while you're in that 60 and you're depending on that medication that is not addressing your root cause of disease, you are traveling this way. And what happened this way? Dead. You are dead. Why? Because either you're suffering the side effects of this medication, causing more issues into your health, adding into the problems, causing complications, causing new diagnosis, or you're not addressing the root cause of diseases, or a combination of both. Between the side effects and the fact that if you're not addressing the root cause of disease, whatever is causing that disease is still causing damage and havoc. Those cells are still getting damaged and getting worse and getting worse and getting worse and getting worse, causing more diseases, causing cancer, causing more inflammation, making you disabled, costing you more money. It not only affect you physically. Let me tell you, when you're medications here and when you're 60%, it's not only killing you physically, but when this medication, let's say, like it happened to me many times, it had me so tired and so weak that I couldn't do nothing. I had to miss congregating myself, going to church, so that affected my spiritual health. Okay, the fact that some of the medications were too expensive, and at times, especially when I was a single mother, I have to decide whether I pay the bill or buy my medication. That affect my financial health. The fact that I didn't feel healthy, that I didn't feel strong, that I feel weak and bad about myself, that affect my emotional health, my self-esteem. So it's affecting every area, causing me to be stressed, causing more complication and more disease. So if you are not taking care of that and you are under this 60%, you are traveling this way surely. Maybe slowly, maybe not that slowly, but you're traveling this way, this way, this way until you get this here. And usually you're going to get here before the date that the Lord has for you to get there, because you're not taking care of yourself, because you're depending on the sick care system, because you're allowing others to dictate the future of your health. So at this point, we're going to take a break and we're going to say some announcements. We are back. I have another thing that I want to let you know. The fact that you went to the doctor and your mammography was normal, the blood work, the doctor said that it was normal. You did your pap, it was normal. It was normal. Your colonoscopy was normal. Doesn't determine that you were 100% optimal health, because you're supposed to take your results. Everybody that is listening, that the sound of my voice, under the sound of my voice, make sure that you always keep, part of your record, so that you can uh, keep an account of how are you trending. Okay, the same way that in a business they do different marketing commercials, things like that, to see how they're trending and which one work better. The same thing, you need to look at those results to see how they're trending. If your hemoglobin, for example, used to be always 15, and now you check it and it's 12, it's still within the normal range, but it decreases a few points. There's something is going on. You're losing the blood somewhere. Something is going on, something that you need to check and correct before you get to the 60% and need a medication for it. That's why it's so important for you to do those things. You make sure that you check everything, your blood pressure, your sugar, you check your blood work. And let me tell you something, in the medical field, the ranges of what is normal are a little bit more exaggerated than what in natural medicine, holistic medicine, and functional medicine want you to be. For example, in regular medicine, you have a normal blood sugar if you have less than 100. If you are a holistic health practitioner like me, I want to see your sugar less than 90. When you are between the 90 and 100, you're already experiencing some level of insulin resistance. If you already have 100, some people come to the doctor, they get 100, oh, you're normal. So they don't address it. They keep eating the way that they're eating. If you have 100, you're already pre-diabetic. You need to have less to not be pre-diabetic. You have to be less than 100, and to be in optimal health where your cells are doing good, you need to have less than 90. So those are the things that you need to keep an eye on. That'll be another show going over test results, what the normal and everything has to be. That has to be another class, so you know. But that's the reason why you're not yet in the 100. The 100 is when it's every single thing, every test, everything is 100%. It's where it's supposed to be. Then you're there. But when you are 60, if something is going on, remember, if you take away the medication, you come back with the system, then you're still sick, even though you don't feel nothing now under the medication. Because sometimes, how you doing? They go to the doctor, they do the physical. Oh, is your blood pressure okay? Oh, yes, my blood pressure is perfect with the medication. Is your sugar okay? Oh, yeah, my sugar is okay, perfect with the medication. No, we want you to be perfect with no any medication, without needing any medication. I want you to be free of that bondage, because eventually those medications are going to cause other issues in your body. Okay? So that's what I want you to know. Hi, Miss Matik, Sister Matik. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so what can we do? What can we do to break the bondage of big pharma? So what I was talking before, adopt a healthy lifestyle and nutrition. You want to make sure that you exercise every day, at least 30 minutes a day. You want to make sure that you have a vision for your life. People that doesn't have a reason or purpose of life, they don't take care of themselves. So it's very important to do that. You want to make sure that you have a clean and organized environment, okay, that is free of toxins, meaning that you make sure that you're using cleaning products that are free of toxins, that you're using personal care products, hair products, cosmetics that are free of toxins, that your house is clean and free of toxins, instead of using Febreze and candles, that you're using essential oils instead, so that you can lower the toxic load, that you foods are clean, no preservative, no GMOs, okay. You want to make sure that you rest every single day, your 8 hours. You know that when you sleep, a lot of metabolic processes happen when you sleep. A lot of the cleaning up of the cells and reconstruction of the cells happen when you're asleep. Even some weight loss happen when you're asleep. So it's necessary for us to sleep every day, at least 8 hours a day. And it's also necessary for you to take a vacation and take a day off. That's why the Lord rested the seventh day. So it's very important for you to do that. It is important for you to cultivate healthy relationships and to have a positive attitude and to make sure that you're connected with God, because God is your creator, your manufacturer. He created you. When you buy a refrigerator, okay, let's say you buy the refrigerator from the Westinghouse and the refrigerator is broken, you go back to the Westinghouse to get it fixed. Okay? You don't go to Sears or to, I don't know, Panasonic to try to fix a Westinghouse. No. So the same thing with us. We need to go back to our creator. We need to go back to Jehovah, to God, to Jesus, to get us fixed. So it's very important for you to make sure you do that when it comes to adopting a healthy life. You make sure that you have good time management, that you know how to prioritize. In order to you to prioritize, you need to put your calendar on top of you. And the first things that you have to plug in your calendar, okay, is your time with God and your spiritual health. The second is your self-care, means your nutrition, rest, exercise, all this stuff. And the third is your relationships. Because God created us to be with other people. Otherwise, if he wanted to be alone, he would have left Adam alone and didn't bring Eve. So we are people person, even when you are not, what the world called people person, that you are there, but we all need each other. So it's very important to do all those things together in a good nutrition that is free of sugars and preservatives and artificial colors and sugars and milk and all this GMOs and all this processed food, and eliminate all those things. You need that in order for you to have a healthy lifestyle. Okay, the next thing that you can do in order to do that is to work with a functional doctor. A functional doctor, okay, is a doctor that is an MD, so he knows about medications and the way that regular medicine is made, but at the same time, they do holistic medicine together. So they work first. They do everything that they can do holistically before they put you on a medication. And if they put you on a medication, they already have a strategy on how you're going to need it for a little while, and they're going to take you out and put you into natural stuff. So that's why it's important. If you can do that, make sure also that you do your research. We need to stay informed, okay? We cannot just go by what people say. That even come with the Word of God. You need to read the Word of God for yourself, because you might be passing through a Christian channel, and so is preaching and saying the wrong thing about what the Word said, and because you don't read it for yourself, you're saying amen, amen, and you're saying amen to a heresy, and you have no idea because you haven't do the research your own. So the same thing going to your health. You need to do the research. What are the good things? What are the good foods that I need to eat in order for me to prevent the high blood pressure, to prevent the sugar, whatever it is that is your health may concern? You need to do those things in order for you to not make sure that you're not dependent into big pharma. Another thing that you need to do is report the side effects. Report it. I know what I said last time when we talked about big pharma, that it seems like that they already have calculated their losses and stuff like that. But the key is that the more people that report those side effects and adverse reactions they have, the more pressure that you put into the FDA, and eventually they have to remove the medication out. So no more people can get damaged from it. So whatever it is that is causing, if you are in a medication that you really needed it and it's causing you some adverse reaction, make sure that you document it. First, document it so you can tell the doctor, so the doctor can make the change. And then from there, make sure that it's reported, so the pharmaceutical and the FDA know what's going on with it. So eventually they're going to have no way, no reason, no other way to do. They're going to have to remove it. They're going to have to remove it anyways. So it's important that you know that, okay? And that you do that. Another thing that you need to know is to remember that God created everything we need for optimal health. He created the nutrients, the plants, the herbs, the spices, the fruits and the vegetables, the air, the sun, the water. Everything that we need, God created it. Not only that, he put innate processes in our body to help the cells heal themselves. He created the detox program in your body so the body can detox itself. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't need a detox program, because that's another question that people sometimes ask. Why we need a detox program? We already have a detox system. The problem is that because of the amount of toxins and garbage that we put to our bodies, and the harm and the stress that we put up to our organs, they need a break sometimes, and they need some cleanup to reboot the energy back to do the things that they need to do, so they don't be overloaded. So that's why you need to do a detox at least once or twice a year. You need to do a detox, a complete detox that will help you boost the energy and optimize the health of your detox system. And what are the detox organs? Is the liver, the kidneys, and the lymphatic system, and the lungs. Those are part of your detox system in the body. Okay? And then the last thing that we need to do in order for us to not be in bondage to big pharma is that we need to take our position as kingdom citizens in government and healthcare. We need to take our position. If you gift and your purpose is in healthcare or in government, take your position, work in your purpose, do the study that you need to do, get the education that you need to get educated, look for opportunities, do the research so you can move into those positions, because we need more people of God, okay, in those positions making the decisions. Because if we have more people of God making the decisions, you know that they're going to follow the principles of the kingdom. As they follow the principles of the kingdom, then we're going to get what God wants us to have. And we can change a culture to a kingdom culture instead of a worldly culture that we're living in that is causing more disease than anything else. So it's very, very, very important that we understand that we take our position, every single one of us. Everybody that is listening to me and watching, you all were created with a purpose. You are here for more than just being here, breathe, wake up, eat, go to work, come back. No, you are more for. You have a purpose. You have a reason. You are the solution to somebody's problem. Okay? You are the solution that God created in there. You're the hands and feet of God to fulfill the will of God on earth. So it's necessary, okay, essential. It's an emergency for you to take your position in the government and in the health and all the different systems, the educational system, the entertainment system, every system out there. We need to take position of that system. And that's what I'm trying to do with what I do right now. I want to be part of taking that position, changing the mind of the people in government and in leadership when it comes to the health, into taking care of themselves. That's why I always say to people, remember that the doctor is responsible of your sick care, and you are responsible of your health care. When I present this information to you, I'm not telling you big pharma is all bad. I'm not saying to you that doctors are bad. No, they are necessary. Like I said, they are necessary to rescue our body from trauma, from sudden illness and exacerbation of disease. They're supposed to bring us back into maintenance, into homeostasis. Okay, and then we are the one that's supposed to create the healthcare, because the doctor and big pharma are not the one that taking you outside to take some sun. They're not the one that make you to drink some water. They're not the one that are giving you. I'm sorry, my husband just got here. The alarm just got in, turned on. But this is life, but that's what life is. So the doctor and the government are not the one that are making sure that you choose the right food. They're not the one that are building your relationships around you, healthy relationships around you, okay, or giving you a positive mindset. That's all the things that you have to work on, that you need to be intentional, okay, to do it. And if you need somebody to keep you accountable, I'm here to do that for you if you want me to do it. Okay, if you need a coach, or you need a friend, you need a pastor, a sister in Christ that can help you with this, do it. Whatever it takes, so that you do not depend on big pharma any longer. Okay, take your position as kingdom citizen, as king and queens, as CEO of your health and lifestyle. Take your position. Thank you so much. So do you guys have any questions? Anybody have any question, any concerns, anything that you want me to answer, anything else that you want me to learn? Maybe even you have other topics that you would like to hear, any disease in specific that you want me to expand on in another different show. Make sure that you write it in the comments in YouTube, in the comments in Facebook. Make sure that you write it down, so that way we know the information. If you have any questions and we cannot catch it here live, I'll be able to answer it for you. Don't worry about it. I will give you an answer. Okay. If you would like to work with me, just let me know as well. Okay. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you. Thank you for all those that are listening. And all those that are listening, make sure that you share this. Make sure that you subscribe to your YouTube channel. Make sure that you turn on the little bell, so that you can be notified when we have another show. If you're in Facebook, make sure that you share. Make sure that you comment. The more that you comment, okay, and ask questions and things like that, the more people are able to see it, because then the Facebook will show it to more people. So write comments there, write questions, concern, anything that you need to know, so that way that we can spread the word of God and the knowledge and wisdom that He's giving us to more people in the world. So thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, I have a question. It says here, how can people release themselves from their medication? Let me tell you something, Miss Veronique, Ambassador Veronique. You cannot release all the medication on yourself, on your own. Many medications have worse side effects when you remove them suddenly. So it's very important for you to to be in contact with your physician, so your physician can release the medication. For example, if you want to release your blood pressure medication or sugar medication, make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing when it comes to lifestyle and nutrition, and then document your numbers in a daily basis as they going low, so that way the doctor can see it, and then he can remove what he might do is by titrate it, by lowering the dosage until he take it away. But many medications cannot be removed suddenly. Okay, many medications cannot be removed subtly. You need to do it little by little, especially bleeding, clotting medications. Okay, medication like blood thinners, blood pressure medication, and heart medication. You don't want to do that, and sugar medication. You don't want to do that either. The same thing goes with depression medication, antipsychotic medication. Actually, most medication you don't want to remove them subtly. You want to make sure that you have instruction from the doctor and that you have documented proof that you're getting better, so the doctor can remove it little by little for your own safety. Okay? Any other question? Yes, there is what is called the Institute of Functional Medicine. The Institute of Functional Medicine. You type that in Google, the Institute of Functional Medicine, and you're going to find. But doctors that you can follow is, for example, Dr. Axe. It's a Draxe. That's his name. Dr. Axe is a functional medicine. Dr. Hyman, which is spelled Hyman, and he got great information out there also as well. Actually, Dr. Hyman is also a leader at the Institute of Functional Medicine. He also have great information and on videos and teachings and blogs and stuff like that that you can use as information. So those are very good. Yes. You're welcome. You're welcome. So anybody else have any other questions? Make sure to share, people. Make sure to subscribe and make sure to write comments if the information was useful. And if even if you want to see something else or you want us to do something better, write it down, because the more you write, the more they show this to more people. The more people to see it, the more people we can impact with knowledge and also with the love of God and the word of God as well. Okay? So thank you so much. And I guess we'll see you later.